What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to this special video here on Anfield Agenda. It is the international break and I'm currently away on vacation with my family, so we thought we'd ask you for some questions that you'd like the answers to. So Connor has gone in and asked the members for a couple of questions. I haven't seen them yet, so I'm going to be reacting and answering them in real time. We'd love to know your thoughts on the video though, so do let us know in the comment section. Drop a like if you enjoy it, and most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe and secure from hackers. Using Surfshark, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries or other streaming platforms like DAZN in Spain for all those important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. Everything. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe from being hacked if you use public Wi-Fi. Let's say you're in a cafe, you're at college, you're out and about, they've got you covered. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning you can share your account with friends or family or that neighbour who's a little bit cheap. On top of all of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can also upgrade to Surfshark One, which includes the VPN, an alert system for breaches related to your data, such as emails and credit cards, and an antivirus software for your desktop. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for a little over €2 a month. Simply scan the QR code on screen right now or use the link in the description and enter the code Anfield Agenda at checkout. I'm going to get straight into it now because I've got to get through these questions, and we'll start off with the first one, which, remember, I haven't yet seen, so we're all going to be reacting to these together in real time. Right, what's question number one? So, Henderson Galbraith 1072, thank you for your question, said, who's a player Liverpool have signed who was pants, and for people who don't know what that means, it means who was terrible, but you still liked him? Alberto Moreno for me, pudding of a left back, but the tattoos of a god, and will always be willing to have a go at United. Oh God, so who would I go with? So I'm going to think back to the darker days of time at Liverpool, and that was obviously the days of the likes of Konchesky and whatnot. But there was one player around that era that I did like, and that was a certain Portuguese player with a bit of a spiky haircut and lots of tattoos as well. So I'm going to answer the question with Raul Meireles for the player for me that wasn't all that good, but that I had the real soft spot for. I don't know if it was the tattoos, I don't know if it was the mohawk haircut, but I did like Raul Meireles even in those dark days as a Liverpool fan where things weren't all that good. Great question, by the way, Henderson, so thank you for that one. Let's move on to question number two. What in your prediction for most shocking finish in terms of the table, i.e. what team is going to miss European football or what team are going to have a real good season and avoid relegation? I mean, to answer the second part of the question, you would think with spending over 100 million quid, Ipswich will give themselves a chance of avoiding relegation. Normally teams that do come up have a habit of going straight back down, so Ipswich could be the team to avoid the relegation. At the other end of the table, who's going to be the disappointment? I feel like it's between Newcastle and Manchester United for me for the real disappointment. Over the course of the season, I do expect Chelsea to work things out. Aston Villa look really strong. I'm going to go Newcastle because I don't like the business that they've done. They haven't done. I mean, we complain as Liverpool fans about our business. Newcastle's has been even worse. They missed out on signing Mark Gay at the end of the window. They tried to sign Anthony Elanga for 50 million quid on deadline day. And I wonder, will they even lose their manager to the English national team when they move on Lee Carsley and find their permanent replacement for Gareth Southgate? So I'm going to go with Newcastle to be the one that lets everybody down or doesn't achieve what people think they're capable of achieving, and Ipswich to avoid relegation. Next up from Zach Jorg said, if you had a 5-minute conversation with John W. Henry, what would you say to him? I would say to him quite simply, convince me that you're here to succeed. Tell me why what you're doing is being viewed wrong by me and many other Liverpool fans, and show me that you have that will and desire to win. honestly, that's what I'd want to hear from him. I wouldn't expect him to be able to explain the financial model to me in under 5 minutes, far from it. Nor would he be expecting to fully be able to comprehend that side of things. But I do want to know that he has the desire to win and not just to continuously grow the value of the asset that he's bought. So I guess that would be the angle I'd go down if I had 5 minutes with him. I think I'd pleasantly surprise him, by the way, if I had 5 minutes to talk to him. I'm sure he and many others would probably expect me to be this shouty, angry lunatic, but I amn't. I'm far from that in real life, and certainly with regards outside of watching Liverpool play, I'm a fairly measured person. So I like to think I'd charm him over, but I'd also think I'd push him quite hard for clarification about why I believe he's not a serious owner who wants to win, and why he should tell me that he's wrong, or that I'm wrong, I should say. Sorry. Good question though, Zach. Appreciate it. Right, next up we've got BFRD 1989 said, do you feel the squad has enough depth and quality to keep up the current pace? Do you feel that there may need to be a few panic buys in January to plug the gaps that haven't been filled? It's a really good question, and I guess one that I'm looking forward to answering after the transfer window that we've just had. So I think the fact that Arne Slot is looking to measure the minutes that these guys get with the earlier substitutions in the campaign for Trent and Robbo and Mohamed Salah and the like, I think is a really good thing, and I think it will stand us in good stead. Speaking to David Lynch about the appointment of Arne Slot, and one of the reasons for it was the fact that at Feyenoord, apart from all of the playing stuff that we know about and the stylistic similarities to Jurgen with a few differences, one of the things that really appealed to Liverpool's owners and Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes was this availability rate of those Feyenoord players, and the ability of Arne Slot, Sipke Hulshoff, and of course Ruben Peters to keep 90% availability of the first team for the manager. If he can do that with us over the course of the season, then yes, we could be there or thereabouts. But I would also say that competition is always a good thing, and even if Ryan Gravenberch becomes the number 6 that we're seeing evolving in front of our eyes, another competitor in there, so we don't see a drop off if Ryan had an injury, or if his minutes started to take their toll, or even just from a form perspective to push him on and increase competition. I'm open to the fact that Salzburg taking Stefan Bajcetic on loan for the season could see Liverpool reevaluate that in the summer, and I'm open to reevaluate my own position on that in the summer. If he had a really good season with Salzburg and he came in, and we could say to ourselves, right, well, we've seen a really good sample size of Stefan Bajcetic in the Champions League and over in the Austrian Bundesliga. He's shown the levels, he stayed fit for the season, then I could certainly understand and appreciate the possibility of not signing a number 6. So I think, yes, all things going well, we could have a chance, but I don't expect us to do much in the January market, if I'm being honest with you. It is a market that usually you go into if you're desperate, or if you've got some injuries to key personnel, and if that's the case, particularly with the injuries, maybe, but I don't expect us to do much in January. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he manages the squad, and how, if we can limit those injuries, because I think most of us would believe our first 11 is pretty much as good as any other first 11 in the Premier League. So Louis 7S said, if you could pick one Premier League signing from this season to bring in for Liverpool, who would it be and why? Wow, really good question, my friend. Thank you. One Premier League signing, right? So it had to be somebody that was moved either into the Premier League or from Premier League club to Premier League club. Who would I go for? It's a difficult one to answer looking around, because if you look at all the top clubs as an example, I wouldn't really take any of Manchester United's players to come in. Ugarte, I don't think would fit into our system. I don't like De Ligt as a centre-back. Manchester City have had a very quiet window. Arsenal have done small bits of business. They've added a centre-back. So what would I do? Do you know what? I'm going to kind of bottle the answer a little bit, but I'm going to say that it'll probably end up being one of the players Brighton have brought in that we haven't spoken much about. Their recruitment this summer seen them spend, I think, over 120 million. So I'm sure there's one or two of those players that we don't even know much about yet that we will look at and really appreciate. After that, I mean, let me give you an actual answer. I'm trying to think of signings that have come in that have impressed me. I think Chiesa, our signing, is an incredible one. So I'm trying to think of what the squad needs on top of that as well. Newcastle didn't really do anything. Solanke, I wouldn't really fancy coming into Liverpool either, into this team. God, it is a really good question, but it's one that I'm struggling to come up with a valid answer for, because there hasn't been too much incredible business off the top of my head done in this transfer window. Yeah, I'm going to have to stick with my Brighton answer because I can't really think of any envy that I've had of signings from other clubs. Maybe Onana. Maybe Onana from Aston Villa, who looks like he's come in and replaced Douglas Luiz very well. You could argue about whether he'd fit into our system or not, but I would certainly prefer Onana over Ugarte based off what we've seen so far. So that's going to be my answer, Onana. Oren Quigley, thank you for your question. Said, if you could pick one player to have stayed longer at Liverpool, who would it be? Oh, good. Alonso. I think off the top of my head, Alonso is probably the one that jumps off the page to me. Luis Suarez, I would have loved to have stayed around as well. But yeah, Xabi Alonso, because I don't feel he left because he was deteriorating. I think that whole situation with Gareth Barry and Rafael Benitez probably put paid to his time at Liverpool. So I'm going to say Xabi Alonso. Also, who else do I feel maybe left a little bit early? We all would have liked Daniel Agger to have stayed around a bit longer if his body hadn't been letting him down. But I think Xabi Alonso is the answer. And the last one, I believe, from AGYT668 said, would you like it if we were taken over by Saudi owners? You see, to answer this question, I have to give more context. It's not to do with the country the people come from for me. So I don't have anything against the people of Saudi Arabia or the people of Qatar or the people of Australia or the people of Ireland. I just don't want any sovereign fund, any country owning a football club because I don't think it's a level playing field. You can't go up against a nation's wealth at a club as a business. You just can't do it. Any businessman or woman cannot go up against the entire weight and financial ability of a country. So I'm open to any private individual or investors owning Liverpool Football Club the same way I'm open to FSG owning them or Hicks and Gillette owning them or the owners before the Moores family. I just don't want it to be any particular country, and it doesn't matter to me if that country is from that part of the world of Saudi Arabia, Australia, America, Canada. It's just I don't like state ownership or interference in football clubs. That's really it for me. If there was a billionaire from any country in the world who wanted to come in, make Liverpool challenge and had ambition, of course I'd be open to it. But I'm always closed off to the idea of any state-backed fund owning a football club. It's got nothing to do with what part of the world it's from. I welcome everybody in and certainly hold no grudges against anybody from any part of the world. So yeah, it's never been about where they're from. It's more about the fact that I just don't want state interference or ownership in football. So, my friends, that is the end of this one. I really have enjoyed it. Thank you for watching it. Do feel free to let us know your thoughts in the comment section if you agreed or if you disagreed. And a reminder, we will be back September 13th with another live stream. Until then, hope you can get through this international break and our players in one piece. And I'll catch up with you on the other side. Much love. Bye-bye.